Well, folks, how are you getting on? Welcome to Carrignaclohy. My name is Seáinín, Seáinín. So, tonight we have some clips from the Ministry of Information, or as some of you know it, RTE, or Radio Television. So, the first story they have for us is on the desperate situation in Ukraine.
Arriving in Kyiv today, US Special Envoy to Ukraine Keith Kellogg appeared upbeat about the trip.
Look, it's good to be back in Kyiv again.
But his visit comes amid a widening rift in relations between the two countries after a meeting of US and Russian officials yesterday in which Ukraine was on the agenda but not in the room.
So, of course, there was going to be bad feelings. I mean, they went ahead and met in Saudi Arabia. I mean, that's like meeting in Mordor or somewhere like that in Middle Earth. You know, meeting a Bond villain's hollowed out volcano. Nothing good was going to come from a meeting in Saudi Arabia.
Last night, Donald Trump dismissed Ukraine's concerns over that meeting and appeared to suggest, incorrectly, that Kyiv was to blame for the war.
Today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
Well, surprise, surprise, Donny J thinks it all started 3 years ago, because he wants to pin it on a simplistic narrative that blames everything on the Democrats and kind of serves his purposes. But what else would you expect from the Egypt in chief, the head clown in the circus? But anyways, this is going to go well.
This morning, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky questioned the information the US was receiving from Russia.
Unfortunately, President Trump, who we respect a lot as a leader of the American nation that supported us all the time, unfortunately, he lives in this disinformation space.
It must be hard to be poor Zelensky. He's 100% right here, but you're dealing with a petulant child in Donald Trump, but also chief gangster of gangsters stateside. So he's going to sell you out the first chance he gets. But it's kind of sad, all right, to see them abandon Ukraine.
Posting on social media, he described Mr. Zelensky as a dictator without elections, saying he better move fast or he is not going to have a country left.
Going on to social media and shouting like a child. Anyways, what else would you expect from him? But in seriousness, if he thinks Zelensky's a dictator, shouldn't that mean that he'll be getting on with him better? Because it seems he gets on very well with the Kim Jong Putins of the world, having meetings in Saudi Arabia about other people's countries. We're living in the upside-down world when it comes to the Yanks. But sure, what can you do? The next story they have for us is on the housing crisis.
Planning rules on cabins and modular homes in back gardens could be relaxed as part of government efforts to tackle the housing crisis, but the dwellings would have to be less than 40 square metres, with many saying there are still grey areas when it comes to planning rules in each county council.
Yes, you heard them right. They want us to live in sheds in the back garden. So don't worry, you can move out of mum and dad's and go down 12 feet down the back of the garden and roll into the shed. It'll be a nice shed, we promise. So later in the programme, they bring on this fella from Progress Ireland. RT never bothered to tell you who Progress Ireland really is. And this fella looks like a deer caught between the headlights. But I thought we'd have a little look at Progress Ireland. So here's us at the About section of Progress Ireland, and you can see we have Sean Keys. Well, let's look at Sean Keys. Oh, look at that. Sean Keys was editor of Money Week and editor of an equity research newsletter. So an equity lad, his qualifications are in economics. Starting to make sense. Donald the Butler, he was with AIB for a while, in and out of government, the Revenue Commissioner, involved in taxation and welfare policies, and he was with the HSE. So nothing he organises could possibly go wrong. Then we have Jim Breslin, who was Secretary General in 2011. Progress Ireland. Well, who owns Progress Ireland, or who funded it? Well, it was Stripe Inc. So if we go up here, folks, we can see Stripe Inc. is an Irish-American multinational financial service. Fair play. History. Started by John and Patrick Collins. Oh, they made a big deal about them $2. They did awful well for themselves at a young age. They were all over the place in the media, making the headlines about 10 years ago or so. More now, maybe. But let's scroll down anyways and have a look. Sequoia Capital. Oh, yes. Massive investors in Stripe, Sequoia. But let's dig into Sequoia Capital. Oh, God. There we go. Airbnb. Oh, there we go. Loads of other. Oh, Shein. Oh, only the best of stuff from Shein. So, yeah, they were involved in a lot of stuff, including FTX. You all remember the old Sam Bankman-Fried. What could possibly go wrong with the private equity firm managing investments? I wonder, did they get involved in any bulk purchases of homes for the rental market? Well, time will tell. Time will tell. But anyways.
After all the high-level meetings, your big centrepiece idea, it seems, is to relax planning rules to allow people to build cabins in the bottom of their gardens.
So the next story tonight is about the undersea cables and defence spending in Ireland, or the lack of it, really.
The chair of the US Senate Foreign Relations Committee has called on Ireland to increase its defence spending to ensure the protection of undersea cables. Taoiseach and Minister for Defence Simon Harris says more investment is needed to protect our country, saying a record €1.35 billion will be spent on defence this year.
What does he mean, more money? Some money. You have to start spending before you can say, we're going to spend more. They're coming off a baseline of zero. We can't even put boats out to sea, lads. Can't even put boats out to sea. Would they be not better off asking their European friends for a bit of help until they can get on their own feet?
In a statement to RTE News, he said with Ireland's strategic position comes significant responsibility to address the very real threats to it, saying we've already seen attacks on subsea infrastructure in the Baltic Sea and Taiwan Strait.
He may be a Republican and he may have very corrosive political views, but he's probably right. We do need to kind of look after the cables and all the pipelines coming in and out of the country. Spending something is better than spending nothing. The next segment is on the Children's Hospital, which has, on an international stage, become known as the most expensive building in the world.
The substantial completion date for the new National Children's Hospital remains the end of June this year. Once complete, it will take between 6 and 9 months to commission the new hospital.
Getting into it, they're kind of saying they're going to start rolling the staff in the door before the place is even ready, in a way to try and hasten the finish time. But she's not slipping as fast, the deadline, but I think she's still slipping. But the minister came on and she has something to say.
Today, the Minister for Health, Jennifer Carroll McNeill, said she expects the hospital to cost around €2.2 billion and to be open next year.
This hospital, if it costs us 2.3 billion, our annual spend on health is 23.4, nearly 24 billion euros every year. So it's 2.3 billion out of 24 billion. It's a once-off 2.3 billion for a hospital that we will have for 100 years.
Minister Carol McNeill is getting involved in a bit of spin there around the numbers for the hospital, but she can't take all the blame for overruns and overspending and all the rest of it. But it's worth mentioning that we kind of have to take everything she says with a bit of salt, a pinch of salt anyways, because here we are on the ditch, and as you can see, Fine Gael Defence Minister met Israeli spy at Taoiseach's office. Fine Gael Health Minister Jennifer Carroll McNeill held a meeting with a former Israeli spy. Now, much like the Catholic Church or the Mafia, there is no such thing as former. But anyways, last May when she was Junior Defence Minister. Now, a Junior Defence Minister meeting with a foreign spy. It's either gross incompetence or very poor judgment, one or the other. But either way, I think we can't really put much weight on what Minister McNeill has to tell us, unfortunately. So the last story tonight is ending on a good note. It's Ireland is joining SAN.
An Irish delegation visited CERN today as the country moves a step closer to becoming a member.
Our application has been accepted in principle by the CERN team. So that's a really good news. So effectively, the hard yards are now done.
Oh, well, it's mighty we're joining the SAN. Great to see. Hopefully we get access to new technologies. Might be nice to get one that'll get the power back on after Storm Hail went down here in Carnacloughy. But anyways, them were the stories from the Ministry of Information. So we'll go over to the Reddit now and have a look at r/Ireland. Irish people leaving their house this morning and seeing that funny orange thing in the sky. Oh, well, very good. They must have had nice weather on the East Coast, because down west here, it was clouds and rain and more rain. Bed said no, Shed said yes. Well, fair play to the Redditors. They're always good with the memes. Well, mighty stuff. Fair play to them. On the ball. We keep going down. Grandfathers against races. Well, fair play to you lads. Fair play to you. They're the kind of boys you'd like to sit down and have a pint with. Mighty stuff. Keep her up. Now. Oh, Jesus. This Colleen over in the States thinks when we're talking about having the crack, that we're talking about drug use. Well, there you go. Oh, this is a good one, eh? The Muff Liqueur Company. Irish potato vodka. Well, if they knew the Irish vernacular, they wouldn't have used that word. But fair play to them, that is good crack. And a nice one to end on, a bit of fun. So, folks, thanks for stopping by Carrickmacloughy. I'm Seáinín, Seáinín. And wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely day.